The midday sun burned down on the crowded city sidewalk, turning the air heavy and restless. When Ayan Malik first saw her collapsing beside a bus stop bench with a tiny newborn pressed against her chest, people passed her without slowing, eyes fixed on their phones, their bags, their own urgent lives. Her face was pale, her hands shaking, and the baby's soft cry was almost lost in the noise of traffic and vendors calling out their prices. Ayan stood frozen for a moment, a single father who had learned to measure every risk, every step, every stranger, because his own little boy waited for him at home. But something in the woman's empty, terrified stare broke through his careful walls. It felt painfully familiar, like the moment years ago when he himself had stood alone in a hospital corridor with his newborn son, knowing the world had already taken more from him than it should have. If you believe that kindness can change a life and that second chances still exist in this world, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel Whisper Talus 3, because stories like this live only when hearts choose to listen. Ayan moved toward her without thinking any further, kneeling beside her on the hot pavement, while the city continued its loud, careless rhythm around them. The woman's name was Noura Hadi, a stranger in a city that had swallowed her whole after she arrived 2 days earlier with nothing but a worn backpack and a baby born far too soon. Her voice was barely steady as she explained how she had fled a violent home, how her family had turned their backs, and how every door she knocked on since morning had quietly closed. The baby, named Sammy, was burning with a light fever, his tiny body trembling under the thin cloth wrapped around him. Ayan felt the weight of the moment settle on his chest, the terrifying responsibility of stepping into someone else's crisis when his own life already balanced on tight edges. He was not a doctor, he was not a hero. He was only a man who had learned how lonely fear becomes when no one answers it. Still, he lifted his jacket and gently covered the baby, shielding him from the harsh daylight, and promised himself that whatever happened next, he would not walk away. The hospital was only 15 minutes away, but it felt like an entire lifetime as Ayan held the door open, carried forms, and tried to steady Noura when her legs nearly gave out in the waiting area. Everything smelled of disinfectant and urgency, and the bright white lights made the day feel strangely unreal, as if hope itself had been put under examination. The receptionist hesitated when Noura admitted she had no identification and no money. Ayan felt that old sharp fear again, the same helpless pressure he remembered from years earlier when his wife had died during childbirth, leaving him alone with a newborn and an empty future he had not asked for. He quietly filled in his own name beside Noura's on the admission slip, taking responsibility without explaining why, because sometimes explaining costs time that fragile lives cannot afford. As doctors finally rushed the baby inside, Noura sank into a chair and covered her face, whispering broken prayers into her shaking hands. The afternoon light spilled through the tall glass windows, warm and gentle, as if the world itself was trying to offer comfort it had denied her all day. While they waited, Ayan spoke little, but his presence filled the silence with something steady and safe. He told her he had a 7-year-old son named Zain, a boy who still believed his father could fix everything. He admitted how terrifying it had been to raise a child alone, to learn diapers, fevers, school lunches, and bedtime fears, while pretending he was not drowning inside. Noura listened with wide, fragile attention, as though she were collecting proof that survival was possible. She confessed how she had slept on a park bench the previous night, holding Sammy close and watching the sky turn from pink to dark blue, wondering if she had made the worst mistake of her life by choosing freedom over familiarity. The day outside continued normally, people eating lunch, laughing, arguing, and hurrying to meetings, completely unaware that inside this bright building, 2 strangers were standing at the edge of everything they had left. When the doctor finally returned, his expression was calm but serious, explaining that the baby was dehydrated and underweight, but would recover with proper care and monitoring. Relief washed through Noura so suddenly that she nearly collapsed again, this time from gratitude instead of fear. But relief does not solve tomorrow, and it does not build a future. Ayan watched her shoulders slowly tense once more as reality crept back in. She still had nowhere to go, no job, no family waiting with open arms, no safety net beneath her fragile courage. He could feel the quiet question hanging between them, heavy and unspoken, and it terrified him more than any emergency had. His own life was carefully structured around school schedules, therapy sessions for his son, and the constant balance between work and fatherhood. There was no space for chaos, and yet he had learned long ago that the heart does not calculate the same way the mind does. That afternoon, as sunlight softened into a gentler gold, Ayan finally revealed the truth he never advertised, the part of his life that never defined him in moments like these. He was the founder of a technology logistics company that had grown far beyond anything he had imagined in his early struggling years. Wealth had followed success, but it had never filled the quiet space grief left behind. He did not speak of it with pride, only with the simple clarity of someone offering a bridge instead of a miracle. He arranged a private recovery room for the baby, contacted a trusted community shelter he had quietly supported for years, and ensured Noura would have a safe apartment, food and legal assistance to rebuild her documents and identity. To Noura, it felt less like charity and more like the sudden return of oxygen after being underwater for too long. Her tears were silent, steady, and full of disbelief. Over the following days, under clear daytime skies and warm corridors filled with life, Noura slowly began to breathe again. She learned how to hold her baby without shaking. She learned where to stand in the sun outside the shelter to feel warmth instead of fear. Ayan visited only briefly, never intruding, never demanding gratitude, always reminding her that strength grows best when it is respected. Watching her regain confidence reminded him of his own long road back to stability after loss. It reminded him that even when life shatters someone into smaller, frightened versions of themselves, patience can quietly gather those pieces into something stronger and more beautiful than before. If this story has touched your heart, if you believe that one brave moment can rewrite an entire future, please take a second to engage with this video and let your support keep stories like this alive for others who may need hope today. Special request, please comment below and share what kindness means to you. In the bright afternoon light outside the hospital, with the city moving endlessly around them, Noura held her sleeping baby against her chest and finally smiled without fear, knowing that the world had not ended when she lost everything. It had only quietly waited for one kind stranger to help her begin again.